Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I know here we mostly talk about health and movement, but I'm also a bit of a camera geek, so I want to bring that in from time to time. And today I'm going to talk about my favourite camera to take out running, or to do any other activities out in the open. And that is the Insta360 One X2. Now, although I'm a camera geek, I'm not super into all the specs and details of cameras. There will definitely be other reviews out there that do a better job of reviewing the camera from that perspective, if that's what you're interested in. What I am going to go through though is how I use it as a runner and why I think it's just the most fun and the simplest thing to take out with you when you're going out for some action. Let's get into it. So this little thing, the Insta360 One X2, it has two 200-degree lenses. So each lens is slightly overlapping the other one, and between the two of them they're taking a 360-degree global view of what's around it. And when you couple it with the invisible selfie stick, there's some AI built into the camera that, because there's a view coming from each direction, it can cut out the stick. So when you're out running with it, it looks like you've got this little drone following you around. When I posted my video of running 36 miles on my 36th birthday, some of my patients watched it and they were like, how on earth did you film it? Because it confused them. They could see the shadow of the camera on the selfie stick, but it literally just looks like a drone is running right next to you or flying right next to you. It's so cool, and you get so many interesting comments. And you don't get that with many other cameras. I also recently bought the selfie stick with the tripod attachment, and I actually thought I wanted this when I was out swimming with my kids just on a holiday recently, and I didn't have this, and I thought, oh, how cool would it be to be able to put the camera down on the tripod and then jump over it and jump in with the kids and you get some great footage. What I want this for running is so that I can rest the camera out and run past, and in post-editing you can pick the shot that you want and it will look like someone's standing there holding a camera panning round with you. So this was £20 and I think it's a good investment, and I'll definitely have it in my toolkit. The sensor inside is a 5.7K sensor, which sounds a lot, but you have to remember that 5.7K is for all of it, all of the footage, which if you were to use it gives you what Insta360 call the tiny planet view, which is fun for about 5 seconds, then it makes me feel sick and I'd never actually use it in my videos. But once you crop into a more usable frame, it's more like 1080p. Now, 1080p is fine. Most people watch YouTube and things on their phone these days, so 1080p is okay. If Insta360 are working on this, I'm sure they're trying to put in, say, an 8K sensor that could then be cropped into 4K. I'll definitely upgrade. For now, 1080p is fine for the sort of videos I'm making. It's got this little screen here on the front where you can actually look at footage through it, but I don't know why you would do that because it's taking everything. However, this is obviously where you get your menus from. I just set this onto standard video, standard photo, and then I'll just edit everything after the event. When I'm out running, I've never had to fiddle with any settings. It's all really simple. The only thing I've ever had to change was there was a couple of times where I wanted to take a photo, so I switched to a movie to photo mode. But other than that, it's really simple and you don't need to go into too many settings in camera. Everything can be done through the app afterwards. There are lots of fun features that the Insta360 has. Some people may use them, I never have, but it's handy to know if you ever want some different video footage, this camera can do it. The microphones and the sound are pretty good on this camera. Now, I have watched some videos comparing the sound of this camera to the GoPro Hero 10, and in my mind, the GoPro Hero 10 is definitely better. I would say this is good enough. Personally, when I was out running my 36 miles, there were some times where I came out from behind some bushes, hit a slight breeze, and it couldn't quite keep up so well. My voice got a bit quieter and the wind got a little bit louder. I don't know how this will cope in really strong wind, but like I say, for throwing in little bits of footage, the sound is good enough for your videos. There is also the option of getting a frame which holds the Rode wireless mic Go, which is thin enough so that it also can be stitched out by the AI in the camera. Although I have a Rode wireless mic Go, I'm not sure I'll ever use it, partly because the fun of this is just being able to turn it on, extend the stick and film and not have to think. Having to think and set things up and make sure I remember to turn this on each time I want to talk, that kind of defeats the point for me. So the sound in this is good enough as standard. And that neatly leads me on to what I think is the best thing about this camera. And because it's taking this 360-degree view and it has a great little computer in here, it has what they call flow state stabilisation. So what that means is you can move the camera around, you can turn it back to front, upside down, and the computer will stick the horizon line, and in post you can pick the shot that you want and it will help you stabilise it without really any effort from yourself. So your only job is to pick the frame that you want. And this is where it really shines. When you're running or when you're doing whatever you're doing, you don't have to be cameraman. You don't have to be thinking, right, I'm gonna point the camera forwards now and then I want to get the shot behind me and then I want to look out over that field or up that mountain. You just hold it and everything is done after the event, which allows you to be much more in the moment. So all you have to do is run. You don't have to stabilize it or frame it or change your grip or anything like that. You're not thinking about the shot you want. All that's done later. For editing, there is some software you can get on your computer. I've never used it. I've only ever used the app on my phone or my iPad. It feels like I've got a lot more control. It looks easier and quicker, and it's also quite fun. So there are a few ways to go about it. Once you've synced your camera to your phone, you can use what they call deep track, which is where it uses AI to track a particular part of the footage, and that's really clever. I like to use the field of view version, which is where you are in the camera. I do this sitting on a swivel chair so I can make smooth transitions around the frame, and you can crop it into various different frames, so you can share it vertical onto Instagram or stories, or you can do 16:9 or square. You can also take multiple clips from the same footage, so sometimes you might want to look forwards or behind or zoomed out or zoomed in, so you're kind of adding to your storytelling. This is my favorite way to do it. It really feels like you're stepping into the tiny world and you're a cameraman in that tiny world, even though it might be you watching you. It's really cool. However, all this does take time, so that's something that you just can't get around with this sort of camera. If you have, for example, 30 seconds of footage, you're then going to have to spend an extra 30 seconds in the app framing it and filming it in real time and then exporting it, that you can then add into your video editing software. So there is that extra step that you wouldn't have with something like a GoPro. With a GoPro, you've got your 30 seconds of footage, then you just take it off your SD card into your computer, add it straight in. So it's one extra step, takes time, but it is what it is. There's no way around it with this sort of camera, but it is the thing that allows you to not be a cameraman, and it is the thing that allows you to be much more in the moment while you're doing your activity. To protect my camera when I'm out running, I just use this little rubber lens cap. The lenses are quite sensitive and fragile apparently, so this rubber lens cap means that I can stick it in my running pocket or running backpack and it's fine, and it protects the lenses. It does come with this little pouch, which I have never used. This is literally the only time I've ever used this pouch, is to show you guys. But for me, it just feels a little bit of a no man's land. It's a bit awkward and a bit annoying, which I wouldn't want to take out running. I'd much rather use this little rubber cap. But then also it comes with a hard case carry pouch, which if I'm ever chucking this in a backpack or taking it traveling and taking it on holiday, this is how I'll transport the camera to where I'm going. And then when I'm actually taking it out, all I need is this little rubber cap. So nice and simple. So overall, I absolutely love this camera. I did think long and hard about getting the GoPro versus this, and although the GoPro has slightly better sound and higher resolution, I just didn't want to be a cameraman. I didn't want to have to think about pointing at me, pointing at the field, pointing at the mountain. That was the real game changer for me that tipped me over the edge into this. I would love it if in the next version they have a slightly higher resolution, slightly better sound, and I will upgrade if they do that. But for now, I'm absolutely loving this camera. It's really good fun, and you do get such unique footage that you can't get with any other style of camera. If you're new here and you haven't seen my running 36 miles on my 36th birthday video, I'll leave that up here. And if you found this video helpful, give it a little thumbs up below. And until next time, have a healthy and happy week.